There's going to be a lot of people here that type stuff on YouTube that's going to have their oh shit moment. And they'll be the ones scrambling to the store, panic buying, and not be able to get what they need for their families. Guys, so what I want to discuss first, put things in context and things like that. First thing I want to do is roll back 2 years. All right, during the whole I don't feel good episode that was going around, we started seeing a lot of shortages in our grocery stores. A lot of grocery stores were shut down. A lot of businesses were shut down. Now there is going to be some articles that will be popping up for you guys, so that these are some of the things I am referencing. Now, before we get started in this, I want you to really think, and also keep an open mind on this too. What do you think is going to happen when something major event happens? You think you're going to be able to go to the grocery store? You think that the government is going to be there taking care of you? No. You need to focus on providing for your family. If you got a preparedness group, you need to be working together with each other. Now, please don't go blindly run and go bang on everybody's doors and say, hey, I'm a prepper, you want to join me? Don't do that. Vet people out. All right, so let's go and get into the article. One of the first things I want to go over should be a photo popping up there for you. From peanut butter to applesauce, Washington State stockpiles tons of food ahead. Now, this is, let's see here, the date was 2020 August. This was in the preparedness for the COOF. I know it's a coded message, because this platform does not allow you to say certain things, but you guys know what I'm talking about. This is when we had the massive shutdowns. Now, this particular event here, they were stockpiling food to help people. All right, hey, that's great, but I want to go ahead and go with some thought process. The article for this is going to be in there, and a lot of people cover this when this happened. Everything from Ice Age Farmer, who I haven't seen much lately. I don't know what happened to his channel. Great channel. The platform is what happened. To Alaska Prepper also covered this. Now, watching and reading up on this, guys, they were talking about how due to the virus, I don't know if that word's going to get nailed or not. Due to that, people were hoarding food. Now, let's talk about that for a real quick second. Hoarding food. This is what we call when you start seeing empty shelves when an event happens. And people like to point their fingers at preppers. Preppers stockpile food for years. We go to the store, we buy extra food, we put back. Good times, bad times, doesn't matter. It's our routine. All right, we're in a routine of things. This is our lifestyle. We always stockpile food. This is rotational stock. In other words, we eat this food. And I see the comments, you'll never eat all that. Yeah, actually we do. Okay, but anyway, I digress on that conversation just for the moment. But they were talking about people hoarding. Now, when you see these masses run into the store, and we see it down here in Florida all the time with hurricanes, all right? Right before a hurricane comes, everybody hits every shelf, from bottled water to shelf-stable foods. Not much in the rice and stuff, because most have common sense that it's going to be hard to cook when you don't have the supplies to cook your food. So they grab water. One of the things I've never understood was all the frozen meats and freezer foods. I don't get that one, but hey, to each their own. Guys, stockpile canned goods and dry goods. But they say these people are hoarding. This is panic buying. Okay? Panic buys is where you see the shelves stripped down. That's not preppers. We as preppers, we stockpile food for years. We constantly rotate our food. We eat off our stocks and we constantly replace it. That way, no matter what happens, we have a buffer. We have a 2-year supply of normal canned goods and dry goods. Now, this gives us the opportunity that we can still eat food while we are growing, all right? When we're running our gardens And the thing is, like down here in Florida, sometimes you just have a crappy garden season. It just, nothing works out. Everything is just, you're fighting everything. So this is why I always advocate, get food put back. You need to be able to have food while you're growing, because I've seen those dumb comments, well, I'm just going to grow my own food. We are completely supportive on growing your own food. But you got to have food to last you through the growing seasons, and also in case something goes wrong with your growing season. All right, so that is the first one. When I saw this, yeah, it's great that they were going to be stockpiling to help people out, but I didn't like how they're spinning it in the story about the people rushing to the store and hoarding all the food. It was panic buying is what that was. Now, there is a such thing as hoarders. Hoarders is a mental disorder. They hoard everything from rings from a Yoo-hoo six-pack to newspapers. Don't know why, but they feel they need it. Preppers, we stockpile food. It's because stuff that we are using and sustain life. Huge difference. We actually use our equipment. We use it on a daily basis. We also know that we need to use that food and cycle through it. That way it never goes bad. When you run a rotational stock correctly, your food never expires because you're eating it and replacing it. Pretty simple. All right, next up, guys, should be a pop-up somewhere up here. Desolate store shelves, empty streets. These 16 eerie images depict in America. Now, guys, for those that say this wasn't a bad thing, there were a lot of people that could not get hold of things. And I'm not just talking about toilet paper. I'm talking about empty shelves because they were not prepared. The U.S. government did not go house to house, knock on the door and say, hey, do you need food? No. And here's something else, guys. There was a lot of stores that were shut down. What's interesting to me is that some of these stores, some of the articles I read now, let's see if I can pull this one up here for you. This particular one's from AmTrust Financial. Some businesses have shut down their operations altogether in an attempt to help stop the spread, seeing huge drop-offs in profits, creating overwhelming uncertainties for their owners and employees. Now, they spun this, there's other articles, they spun this on how they were helping combat the spread of this disease. What they also don't tell you is that a lot of these companies got a nice little paycheck to shut down. And I know that for a fact. I was working down here in Florida, and when our job got shut down, I already spoke to the owner. They were shutting down because they were getting a bailout check from the U.S. government to shut down. So they don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't care if you can't pay your bills. They don't care if you can't feed your family. If it's their agenda, they'll shut it down. So you need to have food put back. You need to have supplies. When I say supplies, it's talking about the whole broad spectrum of supplies, guys. We have covered everything from alternative power, water filtration, storage of water, medical. We have covered all these things. All right, you need to have this stuff in place. Now, I don't expect you to be able to do it all in one night. Of course not. No one can unless you're Rockefellers or, you know, Elon or somebody like that, you know, billions and millions of dollars. If you got that, hey, go for it. I do know right now, a lot of those people are getting bunkers built. Now, one of the things I see, I try to address what I see in my comment sections and how people are thinking, things like that, to the best of my ability, and try to come up with an answer. If I don't have an answer for you, I just say, hey, I don't know. But one of the biggest things I see is you need to support local farms. When they shut down the grocery stores, I'm just going to go to my local farmer and I'm just going to buy the meats and crops I need. Awesome plan, not well thought out. Here's an article for you. Millions of U.S. farm animals to be culled by suffocation, drowning, and shooting. Closure of meat plants due to the means depopulation of hens, pigs with methods experts say inhumane. I'm not worried about the inhumane part. I know I'm a cruel person. I'm talking about the actual issue. We have seen where they just say, okay, due to a flu or due to this disease, we're culling millions of animals. Those millions of animals were supposed to go into our food supply. All it takes for them to say something, and it happens. Doesn't matter if it's true or not true. If they say they're doing it, they put the order out, it happens. So to rely on just a farmer down the road and expect him to be able to feed you and your family, not the best idea. Because here's another thing. People don't seem to understand the limitation on a farm. I grew up on farms off and on throughout my life, all right? They are not prepared to feed a city of people. They're not. They're worried about what they're doing, and there might be some that they can help along the way, but they can be overwhelmed just like everybody else. And things really go bad, they're going to see things are going bad. They're going to be stockpiling their own stuff up. So when I see I'm going to rely on the farmer over there for my stuff, you need to wake up. You need to rely on yourself to get food put back. Now, it's great right now to help support a local farmer, stuff like that, build a type of relationship and stuff. But the fact is, they also have to provide for their families. All right? Sure, I have supplies. My family comes first. Somebody comes walking up the road, I've got nothing for you during shit hits the fan. I have a community I got to work with. Now, do we try to help out with natural disasters, stuff like this? Yes, we do. We just recently got back from one of those. That's a natural disaster. I'm not talking about a full-blown SHTF. You need to focus on your family. Or you can be saint whoever and give away all your shit. It's up to you on that. So, and also, let's go ahead and talk about this. Believe in Jesus Christ. He will save you. You're absolutely correct on he will have an eternal resting place for you if you are a Christian and living correctly and trying to make it to heaven. There is no guarantee ever in the Bible that says because you follow Christ, you will always be took care of in this world. Case in point, you can look at the Bible. Floods, famine, cities being destroyed. But don't worry, because according to you, all you got to do is believe in Jesus. No. That's going to make sure you get upstairs. That's not going to feed your family here. All right. One of the biggest things I see, and I'm not much onto preaching stuff because I get words mixed up in my head. Always have, always will, ever since I got injured. When Joseph was in Egypt and they did the 7-year famine, what'd they do? They prepped. Yeah. Right fast, guys. I need to take the time to talk about some of our affiliate programs, especially if you're looking for survival equipment, long-term food stores, solar generators, medical, you name it, we try to cover it. Now, we have spent the last few years covering different types of long-term food stores, foods, everything from Nutrient Survival to Augason Farms to Legacy to for Patriots. These are products that we use on a daily basis. This is something that we have shown you. We've done the cooking, the testing, food taste test, the whole 9 yards with these companies. Great companies to work for, great food. And let's not forget about alternative power, mainly solar generators. Guys, we have covered so many different types of solar generators, kind of showing you what they can and cannot do. Down in our description, of course, are the ones we're affiliated with. These are the ones that we actually like because we tested them out and they had great results. So if you're looking for alternative power, definitely check that out as well. We also cover medical, water filtration, the whole 9 yards, guys. Whatever it is that you're looking for additional supplies for SHTF, we got you covered because we've actually tested these products out. And again, like I've said, anything you purchase through our links, we get a small commission from. You do not get charged anything extra. It's just a way of helping support us by supporting yourself. All right, guys, let's get back into the video. Now, when we talk about governments, of course, I got to throw this one up there. Food shortage fears see China State Reserve expand further. China is actually working on stockpiling food. They have been. We covered this in the past. And they are stockpiling more and more food. All right, let me get some numbers up here for you. Here we go. According to the department, China possessed 70% of global maize reserves, 60% global rice reserves, 50% global wheat reserves. Those are big numbers. Now, I've also seen the headlines where people were talking about this here. Here we go. China stockpiling grain when millions of people are facing food insecurity, says U.S. Again, it's the mentality of you have something we don't. They're their own country. Do I like their country? No. Do I like their government? No. But the fact is, that is their shit. They're stocking up for their people. That's that. Everybody, they see somebody else with supplies. And how dare you have more than what you need? You need to give it to this. Again, your possessions need to be given away. No. You don't see the super rich giving away their shit, do you? No. Stockpile your food, put it back. Stockpile your seeds, stockpile stuff to deal with pests, help with growing season. Stockpile medical, stockpile all this stuff, guys. Get this stuff put back. Because when it comes down to it, you're going to need this stuff. If you want to be one of these dumbasses that want to give away all your shit, you go right ahead. If that's what makes you feel good for the moment that you went and helped somebody, okay, whatever. My priorities, my family first. Next, my group. All right, that's it. I have no thoughts in dreams of that I'm going to be rolling through the apocalypse wasteland, setting up cities, running things, and that's what the problem is. Most of these commenters that say stuff like that have the illusion that they are going to be some post-apocalyptic hero that saves millions with their intelligence and their food stocks. You better have a lot of food, and you better have a lot of security, and you better hope that they don't turn on you. Because what I've seen in life, because I don't just sit behind a computer, I actually go to disaster zones and stuff. Desperation of people can flip really quick. Most of the time, early stages, as long as help's in the way, people act normal, thankful. But when there is no help and you come rolling in with a shitload of food, good luck to have all that stuff just removed really, really quick. All right, case in point, check out those militia groups and stuff when they do aid drops in Africa. They don't go to the people that need it. They roll in and they confiscate it. That's facts. So you think you're going to be rolling into the apocalyptic wasteland with a couple canned beans, you're going to save everybody. No. Now, let's go ahead and bring up another headline news for you. You know, we started all this talking about the scamdemic. Well, let me pull up my article here for you guys, because this right here, Boston University researchers claim to have developed new, more lethal strand in the lab, which has an 80% kill rate. Now, when this article first came out, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. All right. It's like they weren't happy with, a lot of us believed it was a test run. And a lot of us got nailed on this platform discussing where we thought this stuff came from, how it was weaponized, and it was a dry run to see if they can lock us down and shut things down. And they succeeded. But I also had a new article come up this morning. Boston University pushes back on claims of new deadly strand. So with this, they're saying, so with this, there should be a pop-up. This is their rebuttal from it. Reports by some publications saying they had created a new deadly strand are misleading and untrue. First, the research, meaning it did not amplify the Washington State SARS-CoV-2 virus strain. I'm probably getting nailed right now on this. Or make it more dangerous. They came back out and said, oh, no, we didn't do anything. In fact, this research made the virus replicate less dangerous. Guys, I don't believe anything they say. Now, in a medical standpoint, looking at things, and I am not a medical personnel, never worked for medical or anything like that. I understand taking a virus, recreating, and trying to find out a way to combat it. Of course, that's how cures are developed. But I don't believe that's what's going on. Maybe it's just a conspiracist in me. Maybe it's because I'm a prepper. I believe they're playing with it again because they got the first rollout to work. They got everyone to shut things down. Now it's time to cull. So what do you need to cull with? A stronger, deadlier virus. Now, when it says 80% more deadly, my research showed it's 80% more deadly in mice. Now, take that with a grain of salt. Is it as deadly for humans? Well, quite possibly. I don't know. I'm not a medical guy. So keep an eye on stuff like this, guys. I expect we're going to have something else released. I do. So make sure you have your supplies ready. Everything because of food shortages to another pandemic. They're not done with us. They're not. They're going to keep on. And I've seen others talk about, what about another shutdown? What about another shutdown? And others said, and I've seen a large majority, well, they won't do it, and if they did, nobody will listen. When they kill, when they have an 80% kill rate, it doesn't matter if you listen or not. They don't care about you. They don't. So, I want to close this, guys. Keep prepping. I know this is one of those videos I usually don't do. I usually just show you how to stockpile food, show you some outdoor survival skills, show you solar, stuff like that. It's trying to get you ready. But I also want to discuss this because there's a lot of stuff going on. And the reason why we stockpile, the reason why we prepare, the reason why we train is because of this crap that is going on around us. Not just a possibility of a global conflict, which I believe we're already in. They just haven't announced it yet. When that goes full-blown pop-off, there's going to be a lot of people here that type stuff on YouTube that's going to have their oh shit moment. And they'll be the ones scrambling to the store, panic buying, and not be able to get what they need for their families. Guys, your family comes first. Stockpile up. If you want to have a feel-good moment and you're going to, during SHTF, and you're going to go help people, hey, that's fine. That's fine. I believe in helping people. Of course I do. But I have no delusions that I want to sit there and feed a whole city. The supplies we brought in to South Florida, just what we carried alone, would have disappeared in one full day of cooking. That's how fast that food moved. That's how fast that water moved. We're very fortunate enough that we had the Red Cross, Operation Barbecue, and we teamed up with Wick Actual and his guys. So we had more food coming in that made those supplies stretch out for 3 days. Without those additional drops, that van load of stuff would have been gone in 1 day. And that was a lot of food. Think about stuff. Really look at it hard. Do you have the supplies to go feed a city? Odds are no. We're talking about several tractor trailer load of food. And then it comes down to water. Cooking food. That right there, guys. I already had a general knowledge because we do a lot of outdoor survival stuff. I had a general knowledge and I had the logistics wrote down. And then when I went out there, we purchased extra water. We had to purchase extra water every day. We filled up extra water for cooking water. I was amazed at how much water we went through and how fast it would go through to cook food. And we're talking a lot of water. So what happens when you can't produce that much clean drinking water, cooking water? Put a stifle on a lot of plans. All right, guys. I'll speak to you later.